Hey everyone, Mahir here doing my first ever action figure review for the Marvel Legends Captain America figure. And this one, you can probably tell by the design of it, is based on the Bucky Barnes Captain America, not the Steve Rogers one. But let's face it, we don't even like Steve Rogers anymore, do we? Anyhow, looking at the figure from afar, as a first impression I can tell you that this figure is great. It has everything going for it. The paint, the articulation, the sculpt, oh my god, the sculpt, everything is just almost bang on. There are minor gripes that I have, and I will get to it. And of course I will be talking about all of the details that are in this figure, which is just a massive amount of detail and a lot of work with it. And I'm going to be talking about all of them. So let's start this review, shall we? And first of all, I'm very sorry that I don't have my tripod today, so I'm already sorry for the bad camera angles. I'm gonna set my camera down right over here and let's zoom into the figure. Let's bring it into focus, and wow, the figure already looks pretty damn good. Now, at first, I do need to take that shield off because that is right now distracting me. By the way, the shield is pretty good. We're going to get to it later. So now, let's talk about the head sculpt. So the head sculpt is pretty good. It's a little generic kind of an expression, but Captain America is a pretty generic character. Anywho, but I mean, his flesh tone is a little bit too pale in my opinion. It's a bit too white. But again, his Captain America, I don't really have a big problem with it. But coming to the paint of it, look at the A. It is just perfectly painted. And the wings are also sculpted actually. I like that. The wings are sculpted. And I mean, the paint of the whole head sculpt is just immaculate. Look at it. The eyes also look very good. Now let's get to the torso. The torso of the figure is just, well, let's just talk about the sculpt already. Look at those pecs. It is just awesome. This whole sculpt of it is really good. No wonder Hasbro uses it for most of its figures, and I don't have any complaints. Let them use this body molds for as many as figures as they want, but the paint of it, the blue part is so shiny. The red and white part is just painted very nicely, and the star of the figures, well, the chest star, I think the top portion is a little bit small. It should have been a little bigger, but otherwise it is painted very nicely. And the stars on his shoulders are also painted very nicely. This one is just perfect, but this other side has a little bit of blue dots in the middle, and it doesn't really bother me that much. But of course there is another star behind his back which has a giant hole in it, but you know what the hole is for. I've been looking at it. At first there is that clip in that shield which you have to put inside the hole. Put inside the hole. Bad jokes aside, it does clip on very nicely. Now let's look at the figure a bit more. I mean, let's just come in the paint again. It's so shiny, the blue parts, that I just love it. But that's just mostly it for the paint really, because, well, I forgot the gloves. The gloves are painted red. The paint is nice, but the pegs are painted black. I mean, it's not painted really. It's just not painted red, and that bothers me a little bit. I mean, come on, Hasbro. You should just paint the peg red at least. I mean, that looks really weird in some poses, but you know, it's not really a very big deal breaker. I can live with it. I can be most certainly live with it, but otherwise there is not much paint. But let's just look at this sculpt. I mean, look at it, the bicep, again the tricep, the back, the whole chest, the abdomen, the abs, the legs, the thighs, oh my god, and the boots, everything, even the pouches, they're just sculpted so nicely. Oh, I forgot about the gun. He does come with the gun. Now, the gun, let's take it out a little bit, and there we go. The gun is painted fully like a very flat gray, but the sculpt is actually very nice. I mean, look at the gun, it looks like a gun, and it's pretty nice, but we'll take a look at that later. Anywho, again, looking at the sculpt of this figure, it is just good, and that sheath there, it is supposed to be for a knife, which I did not get because the buyer I bought this from just, you know, forgot it at home. I mean, that's the problem with second-hand figures. Anywho, so again, looking at this figure a bit more, it is pretty good. I mean, look at that. So here we come at the figure, and I'm right now gonna just state a little bit of a problem of mine. That is just the design of this. I mean, this is not a problem for the figure. I mean, the Hasbro. They did a fantastic job capturing the comics, but the design of this figure, I mean, the design of this character, I don't really like it that much because it does not really need too much paint. It's mostly black. I mean, I would have liked it if it had a little bit of brown on the pouches or the boots, but you know, you can't really ask for too much. And I mean, Hasbro did it. So yeah, that's not really a very big gripe. I'm sorry, I just had to say it out loud. And you know, it's still a very good figure. I mean, it still looks very, very cool. And let's go over his articulations. He looks up this much. I need to take that shield off again, boom. And he also looks down that much. That is a very good range of up and down motion. His head does not pivot left or right, but it does look left or right. His shoulders move outward this much, and it also rotates forward. He has double jointed elbows. He has a bicep rotation. His hand rotates all around 360, and it pivots forwards and back. He has an ab crunch that moves forward that much. It also moves back that much. It doesn't really move back too much, but you know, you can't really complain. That is still a very good range of motion. The forward crunch is very good. I mean, that's very good. He does have a waist rotation, and by the way, the hand looks like the same with both the hands, same articulation, and his legs move forward that much, and it can straighten out. It looks way more up, and it's very good, and it moves back. It also goes to the side. He has an upper thigh rotation. He has double jointed knees. He also has a boot cut rotation, which is very good. His legs go down that much, it goes up that much. He has ankle pivot, which is a very important part of articulation. Oh, I just lost my words, I'm sorry. And again, the articulation is just very good on this figure. I love the articulation. He does have peg holes at the bottom of his feet, and he also has boot treads. Wow, that is a good point. A good point. I'm really off my game here, sorry. And oh wait, he does hold his gun very nicely. Let me find it. I totally forgot about the gun. I'm sorry. Oh, this is painful. Where is it? There it is. And let me put it inside his hand. There it goes. Doing it through the lens is pretty hard. There it goes. And his finger goes to the trigger pretty easily. And that is always nice, you know, a guy holding a gun with his fingers through the trigger. There he is, looking at the camera, and hey, I'm gonna shoot you, man. Anywho, oh, hey, I don't know, I just, that was just random. Anyhow, let me just, let's say that this figure is very good, and it is so much underrated. I mean, this figure, I bought it for like $15 or something. This is way too cheap. So you guys should really buy this figure. This is a very good figure. I think this is a home run, really, because the paint sculpt is very nice, and the shield is pretty nice too. I forgot about that. Anyhow, you guys really should buy this figure. So I'll leave it to the slideshow. And do like, favorite, and subscribe.